A very good morning to all of you. In this class, I am going to start with another important topic of chapter photosynthesis in higher plants. In previous class, we have discussed about the cyclic photophosphorylation of light reaction. In this class, we are going to discuss about the non-cyclic photophosphorylation of light reaction. So here is light reaction. In the light reaction, we are going to discuss about the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Which is also known by the name Z-scheme. Z-scheme, because the cycle move in a or the reaction move in a zigzag manner. That's why this process is known as Z-scheme. Now, first is the in the thylakoid membrane there will be presence of the photosystem second 680. Here is reaction center. Reaction center surrounded by light harvesting complex. Surrounded by light harvesting complex. Light harvesting complex. Now, when the light strike to the light harvesting complex, photon, that means photon, or it get the energy transfer via different photosynthetic pigments surround the reaction center chlorophyll A, or finally transmitted the energy to the chlorophyll A. The electron from chlorophyll A get excited or emitted from the orbit of chlorophyll A, which is received by electron acceptor. Electron acceptor molecule. Electron move in a uphill manner or stream. Okay. Stream. Now, the electron acceptor plastoquinone or shortly known as PQ function as electron acceptor, but it is a proton acceptor. When they receive excited electron from the chlorophyll A, because they have proton, they emit their proton H2 molecule into the stroma of, or into the matrix of thylakoid. Because these are present in the inner membrane of thylakoid. Now, second is the electron acceptor transmit electron to the electron transport system in a downhill manner. Electron transport system in a downhill manner. Downhill stream. Through the electron transport system, there will be formation of ATP from ADP through the electron transport system. Then again the electron from the electron transport system move in a downhill manner, which is received by the light harvesting complex, or in a down, because energy is used during the formation of ATP, or that electron move in a downhill manner. Or here is again the chlorophyll A, which forms the reaction center and which is surrounded by the light harvesting accessory pigment present in light harvesting complex. So this electron, the recovery of electron takes place, and again when the light or the photon strike on the photosystem, first here is photosystem, second which absorb the light of 680 nanometer, and here is photosystem first which absorb the light of 700 nanometer. So again the electron get excited and emitted from the orbit of chlorophyll A, received by electron acceptor ferrodoxine. Electron acceptor ferrodoxine. So this ferrodoxine electron acceptor give the electron to the NAD reductase, NADP reductase. An enzyme. They form NADP plus, NADP, from NADP plus to NADP H2. So this is formed by, the reaction now. So NADP now reductase. So again the electron move in a uphill manner, here is downhill manner to form NADPH2. The photosystem second, or here is photosystem first, slightly present towards the matrix region of the thylakoid membrane, and again because the chlorophyll A emits the electron, so there is no any substrate that pass the electron, or the electron get excited in the presence of photon. So thus after some time there is the lacking of electron from, at the chlorophyll site, at the site of chlorophyll A. So that's the fulfilling of the electron takes place via the splitting of water, from where the H2O molecule, the splitting of H2O molecule into 4 proton and 4 electron. So 2 water molecule is split to form 4 proton H plus 4 electron plus 1 oxygen molecule, or these electron used in the electron transport system, and water and oxygen evolved from the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So this is the overall reaction which takes place in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, where the reaction takes place in a zigzag manner. That's why the process is known as Z scheme. Here the light harvesting complex is formed by the reaction center and photosystem second, work at the 680 nanometer of wavelength of light. That means the chlorophyll or the light harvesting complex absorb or work at the light ranges to 680 nanometer. Above the light of this range, they can't do their function. So when the protons strike on the light harvesting complex, the light harvesting complex formed by the reaction center and the accessory pigments surround the chlorophyll A, or these prevent the photooxidation of the chlorophyll A. So that's why these are surrounded by the chlorophyll is surrounded by the light harvesting complex. Another is the photon passes through a different accessory pigment to the chlorophyll A. The chlorophyll A get excited, or the electron get energetic, or they jump from the orbit of the chlorophyll A, or that is received or accept by the proton by the electron acceptor, which is also a proton acceptor, but during this time they accept electron or release their proton. They accept plastoquinone, accept the electron, upcoming electron, and release the proton in the matrix of Brenner. Now, plastoquinone transfer the electron in a downhill manner to the electron transport system. Through the electron transport system, there will be formation of ATP molecule. ATP molecule. Again, the electron move from electron transport system to the photosystem first, which works at 700 nanometer of light, or absorb the 700 nanometer of wavelength and get excited to emit the electron, or that is received by again electron acceptor or ferrodoxine. Ferrodoxine, near the electron acceptor for the ferrodoxine, there will be presence of the NADP reductase, which reduce the NADP plus to form NADPH2. So energy is stored in the form of ATP and NADPH2. If we are going to discuss about what are the products or steps involved in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, first we are going to discuss about the products. So products are in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, first product is oxygen molecule formation occur. Oxygen evolved only by the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, not the cyclic photophosphorylation, because there is no need for the H2O for the splitting of water molecule. That's why there will be no presence of the evolution of the oxygen molecule. Then second is ATP formation. Third, energetic molecule formation, ATP and NADPH2. Formation of ATP and NADPH2 takes place during the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So both takes place in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, whereas in cyclic photophosphorylation we have discussed that the only ATP molecule produce neither NADPH2 nor oxygen molecule. But here is also the proton 4H plus and the 4 electron also form for 4 electron produce or transmit to the light harvesting complex of photosystem. Second, so recovery takes place through the splitting of water. These are the products. Now let us discuss about the chemiosmotic hypothesis. What is chemiosmotic hypothesis? Why we need chemiosmotic hypothesis, or what is the role of different FOF1 particles in the, because they also, the stroma, the thylakoid membrane also have the FOF1 particle for the synthesis of ATP molecule. Always the electron transport system in the, as we know, in the respiration also we have discussed about the FOF1 particle help in the formation of ATP. So like the which is present in the mitochondria, like the mitochondria, what is the function of FOF1 particle? So they also perform their function too in the chloroplast, similar to the mitochondria. Similar to the mitochondria. Now let us discuss about the chemiosmotic hypothesis. Now next is chemiosmotic hypothesis. Chemiosmotic hypothesis. So in the chemiosmotic hypothesis, the proton gradient used for the formation of energy molecule. thylakoid membrane, there will be presence of the photosystem second of 680 nanometer, and then electron passes to the proton plastoquinone or electron transport system, then photosystem first, photosystem first, 700 nanometer, and NADP reductase, which form NADP plus 2 NADPH2. Here from the photosystem second, there is always splitting of water, and 4 proton always released during the process, during the splitting of water or during evolution of oxygen molecule. So here recovery, electron use in the recovery of electron. And what about the proton? Again, the plastoquinone also function as actually these are proton acceptor, but when they receive electron, they also emit proton into the lumen. So that's why in the inner lumen the proton concentration become high as compared to the outer stroma. So here is the concentration. Here is the concentration of proton is low concentration of proton, whereas in the lumen the proton concentration is high. Due to this reason, the FOF1 particle, which is present in the membrane, so the CFO, FO or F0 particle, which is present in as a transmembrane protein, or forms a channel for transport or for the facilitate diffusion. So they facilitate the diffusion of proton through a transmembrane protein, which is formed by FOF1 particle. Collectively, these particles are known as ATP synthase. ATP synthase, which catalyze the reaction, which catalyze the formation of ATP. Through the proton gradient work, or through the proton gradient, there will be formation of ATP molecule from the ADP molecule. So this is the chemiosmotic hypothesis, where the proton gradient work, or in the proton gradient, how the proton gradient work, because near the photosystem second, electron always emit when the light or proton or photon strike on the photosystem second, or again electron get excited and emitted from the orbit of chlorophyll, which is catched by the plastoquinone electron acceptor, passes through the electron transport system. Through this rate, plastoquinone, because the plastoquinone is proton acceptor, they always take the proton from the matrix or the stroma and remove and transfer into the lumen, transfer transfer into the lumen during the transport of electron. And again the splitting of water too takes place at the photosystem second. That's why overall the proton always increase in the lumen step by step during the formation of ATP or NADP H2. So that's why in the lumen of the chloroplast or thylakoid always the proton concentration get increases, or due to increase in the proton concentration the pH of the lumen get decreases or become acidic, or they destroy the membrane proteins or enzyme. They may destroy the membrane protein and enzyme. So that's why for decreasing concentration of the proton and for the formation of ATP2, there will be the function of the proton gradient. The proton gradient used for the formation of ATP molecule. Now, in the membrane of the thylakoid, there will be presence of the ATP synthase particle, which is formed by the transmembrane, which is formed by two subunits CF0 or CF1, or these ATP synthase facilitate the transport of proton towards the stroma region, from lumen towards the stroma region. Through the proton gradient, the ATP gets synthesized or catalyzed by the ATP synthase enzyme. Because the pump function through the proton gradient, or that's why they support the facilitate diffusion, that through the facilitate diffusion the proton transmitted into the stroma. If not transmitted into the stroma region, because here the concentration of proton is already decreased in already low in number, so there is no such effect of these proton on the stroma or the chloroplast, or because of increasing the number of proton, they may destroy the chloroplast, membrane of the chloroplast and the enzyme of chloroplast. That's why always the removal of proton takes place via or through the CF0 or F1 particle, which is a part of ATP synthase. Now here all the proteins, all the complexes are present in the membrane of thylakoid, but it is similar, the formation of ATP is similar, quite similar to the respiration, but in the respiration process the proton are transmitted into the intermembrane space of mitochondria. In this region all the proton are transmitted into the lumen. That's why the lumen concentration, proton concentration get increases, or it increases in such a way that decrease in the pH, or that result in the overall acidic medium of the lumen. Or that's why the proton gradient work, because in the proton gradient the proton or the any chemical move from higher concentration to lower concentration, or that follows the facilitate diffusion, because in osmosis or the diffusion too we have discussed about the particles or the elements move from higher concentration, or solutes move from higher concentration to lower concentration. In this reason also the proton move from higher concentration to lower concentration through the transmembrane protein, which is formed by two subunits CF0 or CF1 together. The CF0 or CF1 together called ATP synthase, which form the ATP through the proton gradient, or here again the ATP gets synthesized through the chemiosmotic hypothesis. So that's why this is the process is known is chemiosmosis, because chemical is proton and the osmotic higher concentration to proton move from higher concentration to lower concentration for the formation of ATP. So student, I hope you like this video. So here is overall about the chemiosmotic hypothesis and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So thank you for listening and watching.